Hello there. Welcome to Split Bill Daily Interview. Today's guest is Dani Flowers, who is a songwriter and performer right here in Effingham, Illinois. She spent some time, as I understand it, we're all going to learn more soon, but as I understand it, she spent some time in Nashville, and but she's from this area originally, I believe, and in I think the winter at some point, maybe early in the winter, she officially moved to Effingham, which is very exciting for those of us in the songwriter performer community to have another really high quality performer, singer, and songwriter here in town. So I'll bring her on in a minute. This is a song I get a lot of requests for because it's a newish song. Even though it's not on any of my records, I do play it almost every time I play out because I like it. It's a song that I wrote sitting in my office. I should have been working, and I looked out the back window. It was in December, and it was cold out, and all the leaves were off the trees, and it was kind of desolate looking outside. And that inspired this song somehow. I got my back to the sunset, watching as my shadow grows. Here it is almost tomorrow. Here I am in yesterday's clothes. You've been gone for a year now. Why can't I let you go? I keep looking over my shoulder, standing here in yesterday's clothes. You asked me to give just a little, to compromise, find a little. And those words rattled and rang like a riddle. Now the cold wind blows, and it's coming on. The big oak tree looks so lonely and foolish without any leaves. And I'm the only one who grieves, standing here in yesterday's clothes. You bought me blue jeans and flannel. Wood smoke and clove filled my nose. Stockings hung from the mantle, but now they're just yesterday's clothes. Maybe I'll clean out my closet, or reconsider the fashion I chose. I'm gonna take a long hard look in the mirror, change out of yesterday's clothes. You asked me to give just a little, to compromise, find a middle. And those words, they rattled, they rang like a riddle. Now the cold wind blows, it's coming on. Big oak tree looks so lonely and foolish without any leaves. I'm the only one who grieves, standing here in yesterday's clothes. I'm the only one who grieves, standing here in yesterday's clothes. Oh, listen to that guitar. This is my dad's old Taylor 714. It's a sweet guitar. It's a concert style, and it just sounds wonderful. I had my buddy Grattan Tolliver took a swing at it today and straightened the neck out a little bit and filed down some of the frets, and it sounds as good as it's ever sounded right now. Thank you, Grattan Tolliver. And thank you, Dani Flowers, for being my guest today.
Hello, hi.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm good. You know, just like everybody, a little bit stir crazy.
Yeah.
But, instead of just regular crazy, I'm stir crazy. So
right.
So how you? I know you've got a kid, about was it a 4-year-old kid?
Yep, he'll be 4 a month from yesterday.
Oh, okay.
Yep,
so normally I ask everybody what they've been doing, but I know what you've been doing.
Yeah, that.
If you got a 4-year-old, yeah.
Cool. That right and I've been playing a lot of music, to be completely honest. It's kind of crazy. Right. I haven't been playing much in the past couple of years, and all it took was a freaking pandemic, and now I'm playing more than I have in a long time, and I haven't even had to leave my house. So,
well, that's great. Yeah. So, like doing live streams or just playing for yourself?
Yeah, no, both. I've been playing pretty much every day here at my house, which is different for me. But also, I've been doing some Facebook and Instagram lives of my own. I did one for some people in Ohio, Pennsylvania, to like help some small businesses in the area. That was really fun. I did a couple on my own of like where I did like strictly 90s country. I did where I
right.
did songs from like my favorite songwriters. And then I've been doing this thing with some of my friends who are Texas artists called Sequestered Songwriters is what they're calling it.
Okay.
Which has been really cool. It's like they've been doing these virtual guitar pools. So they'll like start on one person's page, and then like the first one I took part in was a Dolly Parton one. So someone would sing a Dolly Parton song, and then they'd say, now go to this person's page, and then go to this person's page. And it was really cool. I've gotten to like be in touch with some of my Texas friends that I haven't been able to see in a while. And that's been really cool. So
how do you have Texas friends? Did you ever live in Texas, or
I've
never
lived in Texas. I hope to someday live in Texas. I love it so much. I love Austin. I've got a bunch of friends down there. I actually, like when I first got started in the music business in Nashville, I worked with Leanne Womack a lot and her husband. And she actually, I did some touring with her, and she actually took me to Steamboat the Music Fest at Steamboat Springs in Colorado.
Yeah.
And she was like, there's this whole scene of people that you need to know. And I was certainly aware of a lot of them, like Cross Canadian, Ragweed, Randy Rogers, that kind of thing. And I actually ended up in a room with her. She had this big jam session in her hotel suite that night. And that's when I met Willie and Cody Braun, all the Braun brothers. I met Randy and Cody and like Wade Bowen and Stoney LaRue. And they were just all like so nice to me. I got to talk with Willie quite a bit that evening and his brother Cody. And it was like literally a few months, that was in January. And then like in May, Willie and Cody had me come sing on their next record. So,
oh, wow.
Cool. Yeah, they're all really awesome people. So I've played quite a bit in Texas. I've never lived there, but I've definitely visited as often as I can.
Nice. I know Cody and Willie spent some time in Idaho, but do they still live in Austin?
Let's see. So they're from Idaho. All of those boys are from Idaho. They all, as far as I know, they all live in Austin. I think 3 of them have places in Idaho. 3 of them have places in Idaho. So they kind of just, when they're off the road, they hang out up there, as far as I know. I think a couple of them are spending the pandemic hunkered down in Idaho, which I don't blame them for. That's kind of the best place to be for something like that.
Oh man, I've been emailing with Willie, thanks to you for hooking me up. But and he told me that he was way out in the middle of nowhere. But I first met them when they first moved to Austin, and this would have been around 1997 or so. Yeah. And I was hosting a daily, or not daily, but a weekly jam session at a place called Avenue B Grocery. Okay. And they probably came 5 or 6 times. But they had just gotten to town, and somebody roped them in to come into my little jam circle, and they was just amazing how proficient they were, especially. And I'm a big fan of Willie, but Cody really blew me away. Yeah, he's one of the most musical people I've ever met in my life, and really enjoyed playing with those guys. But I remember saying to somebody, they were nobody. I mean, but I remember saying to somebody who was there,
in '97, they had, for sure.
They hadn't made a record yet or anything. But the next thing I knew, they were Joe Ely's backing band, and they were going places. And I got them a gig shortly thereafter. They played at a place at Sneaky Pete's here in Effingham.
Oh, really?
And, yeah.
I bet my mom knows Sneaky Pete's.
Well, it's now the Elks Lodge, but it's right in front of the Village Square Mall.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So it was built originally.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, I talked to their booking agent afterwards, I can't think of his name. Anyway,
Yeah.
I said, how'd they like the gig at Effingham? He said, oh, it was fine. They told me never to book it again. Said, okay. I don't know. Anything could have gone wrong, but I wasn't there, obviously.
Right. Yeah. That's funny.
Hey, before I just yammer on too long, can I get you to play a song for us? Sure.
Yes. Let's see. I'll play this one because it's not really, there's not a whole lot to say about it. It's just, this is a song I wrote. Make sure this is the right key. Yeah. So I wrote this song. I think I was probably like 19 or 20 years old. So I'm a while ago. I'm not going to say how long, but it's been a while. I wrote this with a guy named Billy Crane. And yeah, it's been one that I do this anytime I play a show. So. So unconventional, chasing every dream, every turn, every pull on the world. I'm that kind of girl. I take everything I've got, bet it on a long shot, watch it drift away like leaves on a lost highway. On a windy day, I toss and turn and never learn. And I'm like glass, sometimes I break. I don't face up to my mistakes, and I keep running just like water. And just like that, you welcome me back with open arms, forgiveness in your heart. I couldn't make it any harder, but you love me like a prodigal daughter. You're unconditional, so peripheral. You don't try to tame that wilder side of me, 'cause I know you see that I can change my wandering ways. Well, I'm like glass, sometimes I break. I don't face up to my mistakes, and I keep running just like water. And just like that, you welcome me back with open arms, forgiveness in your heart. I couldn't make it any harder, but you love me like a prodigal daughter. Just like that, you welcome me back with open arms, forgiveness in your heart. I couldn't make it any harder. Oh, I keep making it harder, but you love me like a prodigal daughter. Thank you.
That was fantastic.
Thanks so much.
So how did you end up in Nashville? You just decided you wanted to be in the music business, and so that was the place to be, or?
Yep, that's exactly right, actually. Yeah, I heard you talking earlier. I was born at St. Anthony's Hospital. I grew up in Vandalia. I moved back here, well, to the general area in like 2018, so almost 2 years. And yeah, I mean, I grew up wanting to be a country singer. That's just what I've always wanted to do. And so I moved to Nashville. And yeah, that was just always, it's weird. I don't ever remember like making the decision. That was just like always the thing. I was always gonna move to Nashville, be a country singer, that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's exactly
Right
what
on.
happened.
Right on.
Yeah.
And you kind of got into songwriting as well as singing.
Yeah, for sure.
That,
So I grew up singing. Like I don't ever remember like not like I think I sang on stage for the first time when I was 4 years old, probably. My mom's family is extremely musical. My mom is super talented. She actually used to play with the infamous, anyway, Danny Macklin here in town. She played bass in his band and sang with him. I always hear like really great stories from those times. My uncle had a band called Night Train that I think my mom played once with them or a couple of times with them, and then they actually got hired to do the 55K USA Roadshow. So they played all over. And then before that, even my grandparents had a band called the Country Roads. They were from Brownstown, St. Elmo area. So I've always it's always been a thing that's been around me. So I always was a singer. I always loved singing. And then when I moved to Nashville, it just kind of happened. Actually, I always forget about this until my mom talks about it, but there was a contest that Tootsie's Orchid Lounge, WSM, the radio station that broadcast the Grand Ole Opry down there, they were putting on this songwriting contest where you wrote a song and then you go to Tootsie's, and it's the only time I've ever even been in Tootsie's. Was the one and only time, was for this contest. I wrote a song. My mom helped me write the song. We got up and I sang it, and they were like, okay. Then they called like 3 or 5 people, I think, to move on to the next round and sing another song. And we were like, oh, we didn't know that it was going to be like a round type thing. So I did not have another song. I'd only ever written that one song in my life, but they asked us to move on to the next round. So it was kind of really a cool experience, though. So my mom and I went out into that back alley between like Tootsie's and the Ryman, which is just historic, and sat out there and wrote another song. And we didn't end up winning, obviously, because we wrote a song in the alley. But that was kind of my first taste of songwriting. And then, I mean, I mentioned Leanne a little bit ago, Leanne Womack. So I was in her fan club when I was like 12, probably from like 12 to 16. And I got to meet her like through meet and greets and that kind of thing. And she actually had found out that I moved to Nashville through, I think, MySpace maybe. And I was working in a restaurant down there one day, and I got a call from her personal assistant. And she was like, hey, Leanne wants to know if you would want to come in and write a song with her and Dale Dodson next week. And I was like, oh my God. So I went and did that. We started a song, and she introduced me to a bunch of people at the publishing company that we wrote at. And I came back like 2 days later to finish the song, and they started talking to me about if I wanted to, like write songs for a living and, work towards a publishing deal. And that's what I did. So,
wow.
And it was kind of always like as a means to like get me a record deal and that kind of thing. But, and it was going to be people like helping me write songs and that kind of thing. But then it turned into being something that I really love to do. I started writing, not only co-writing, but writing by myself and, writing with different artists and stuff like that. So it turned into just something that I never really thought about before, but just absolutely fell in love with. So.
Wow. Well, that sounds wonderful.
Yeah.
So would you describe your experience in Nashville generally? I mean, was it all you wanted, or was there a downside to being in Nashville?
I mean, I don't think there was really a downside to being there. I think it got to the point where it like just wasn't a great mix, and timing wasn't exactly right. The good thing was I never had anybody like come to me and try to change what I was doing. But I did have a lot of people just like not be into, I signed my record deal, and that was really exciting. And they seemed to be really excited about me. They're like, she's different, she's like more country, and we don't have a lot of that right now. And then they let me make the record of the record that I wanted to make. I wrote all the songs. And then it got time to like kind of release it into the world, and they were just kind of like, well, she's just so different, you know, like it was like the reason they signed me was the reason they were having a hard time with it. And then what ultimately ended up happening was my label merged with a bunch of other labels, and I was actually one of the lucky ones who was kind of let go right at the beginning of that. I have friends that ended up being caught up in it for like 5 years, not able to do anything. And so yeah, I mean, I've done a lot of really great things, though, that wouldn't have happened if I wouldn't have moved there. I've got to write with some of my like songwriting heroes. Like I've written songs with like Bill Anderson.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Leona Williams, like Jerry Salley, just like all of these amazing people that I've gotten to write songs with and get to know through other things, you know. I got to tour with Willie Nelson. I mean, like, and then I got to meet all those Texas guys who I've got to play a bunch with. Like I got to do shows with Leanne, who growing up was like my hero. So just some of that stuff was like, I definitely got to check off things that I like, specific things that I always wanted to do, you know? And, I mean, I even have ended up writing a couple of songs that ended up on like Grammy nominated records, which is kind of cool too. So,
yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Well, that sounds like a great story. Would you be willing to sing us another song? Maybe pick one.
Yeah, I'll do one of those actually. Okay, so since I told you all of that, like huge long story. So the song that I ended up writing with Leanne whenever they had me come in with Leanne and Dale Dodson. We wrote this. I'm looking at my original like lyric sheet right here in 2008. And she recorded this on her most recent record called The Lonely, the Lonesome, and the Gone. That was nominated for the Best Americana record at the Grammys last year. And yeah, so this was really one of the first songs I ever wrote. And I'll go ahead and sing this one for y'all. Don't ask me if he's crossed my mind, 'cause that would be a waste of time. It's a good thing he can't get me down. He's someone else's heartache now. I no longer toss and turn at night. Pray to God that he's alright. I could care less if he makes the rounds. He's someone else's heartache now. The things I say to just get by, the only way that I survive. I tell my mind that I'm okay, no matter what my heart might say. I don't think about what might have been. I'm just glad I'm finally over him. I guess he's happy with the love he's found. He's someone else's heartache now. The things I say to just get by, the only way that I survive. I tell my mind that I'm okay, no matter what my heart might say. I don't think about what might have been. I'm just glad I'm finally over him. I guess he's happy with the love he's found. He's someone else's heartache now. heartache now. Thank you. That's a country song.
No kidding. Well, that's how when I was playing my song at the beginning of the show, that song to me feels like a country song.
Yeah.
I hear a fiddle or a
oh yeah,
a steel guitar or something in there in the break and stuff. But that's I downloaded the new Reckless Kelly record today.
Oh yeah, I've still got to do that today.
And it's really I'm enjoying it so much.
Yeah.
And I have not been following their career all that much.
Mm-hmm.
There's this really fine line between what I call Americana music.
Mm-hmm.
People like Hayes Carll or Hayes Carll kind of treads in both camps a little bit.
Yeah.
But Slade Cleaves or Tom Russell, all that. And then there's a very, very slight difference, but the Randy Rogers, the Texas country scene, it's just slightly different. But it if you're in the world, as you probably know, I mean, I'm sure you know this, they're worlds apart, like the jam bands are nothing like Reckless Kelly, although I like them both a lot,
Right, yeah. It's kind of a strange, I mean, I'm a huge fan of like all of what you just mentioned. Like, I think the Texas country is cool. It's very different than Nashville country, which I definitely appreciate.
Well, it's country for one thing.
Right. And that's the thing about Texas country is there's like definitely always remnants of like country music in there. Like there's no denying that. And then there's just within that like region, there are people that are doing like straight up dance hall, honky tonk country music. There's people like Reckless Kelly that are doing what they're doing. That's country, but it's like rock and roll at the same time. Like, yeah, I'm a big fan of that regional music.
Sure. It's odd. I have a brother, as you know, my brother Matt is he describes his music as black dirt. I saw Joe Stam on here earlier. I think he also describes his music as black dirt.
That's funny.
And anyway, Matt and I are very similar in some ways, but still our fan base doesn't. I mean, there's some people who like us both, but it seems like his fan base is much more in the Texas country or red dirt country, and my fan base is more like folk singers.
Right, yeah.
Type stuff.
Joe Stam, I actually met Joe Stam he was opening for Reckless Kelly in St. Louis.
Oh yeah.
He was really great.
He was my guest last week. He really, I didn't know much about him.
Yeah,
I didn't know much about him, but now I really dig his music. So
yeah, we actually had a very lengthy Instagram conversation. He shared a picture on his story that was like, he had found these. They were almost like Hot Wheels. They were like die-cast vintage country tour buses. And I saw those and I was like, where did you get those? Because I like geeked out about that for like a whole second. But yeah, he's really great. Yeah. But yeah, I love that stuff. It's cool too, because like spending time in Nashville and then also spending time with like the Texas artists, it just feels like they still kind of do the thing where you get together and play music for fun, a little bit more than the Nashville folks do. But yeah, I mean, I've got nothing but good things to say about all those guys.
Yeah, well, I look back on the time when I lived in Austin. I was young and mostly I lived on the road, but I called Austin home. I would come my mail there and stuff. But it was a time unlike any other for me because, like you say, people, they just want to play, Yeah. And there's no music business really happening there. It's just all the musicians that I love.
I love it. And that's my favorite thing to do. Like I love writing songs. I love getting in the studio and like making a song into a production, but playing live shows is just the most fun. And it's so crazy because like I had really convinced myself that like I've gone through like a bit of a rough patch in just like life in general. And like, I was like, this is the year that I'm really going to start like buckling down and like playing more shows. And I still am planning on doing that, but I'm just like, dang, if Corona didn't come in here and just
kick your ass.
All of those plans. Are you guys able to like still have your festivals that you usually do?
No, we've already canceled the Moccasin Creek Festival, which you were booked. I think you were booked to play a songwriter's thing or something, but I can't remember.
Oh, well, yeah, I was going to mention that. I was like, I need to be on that festival.
Well,
I saw that you were going to have Bruce and Kelly. I love Bruce and Kelly. They've been doing that sequestered thing.
Yeah, I had Bruce on last week also.
Yeah, I want to play that next time.
Yeah. Well, it's right up your alley.
Yeah, it definitely is. All those festivals that you do, I love that you do like that one. Then you've got like the bluegrass one. Like, I think that's so cool.
We have Summer Sundown. I think you were on that last year, right?
Yes, I did do that last year. That was fun.
Yeah. Well, we haven't made a decision about whether to do that one yet this year. I mean, we're planning to do it.
Right. Plan to do it so you can't. Yeah.
We haven't called it off, but we're just keeping our eye on it and trying to make the best decisions as we can going forward.
Right. Yeah.
But all right, I think
it's outside.
Sorry.
It helps that it's outside.
Yeah, I've been sort of turning around in my brain the ideas of having different kinds of festivals, like where you would maybe at a drive-in. It's not the same thing, it would never be the same thing, but
right.
But if you could have people sitting in sections and just sell the sections rather than sell a ticket to each person.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
There's going to be 40 tables spread out over this field, and for $200 you can bring 3 friends.
I noticed that, like, I think Eli Young Band and maybe Josh Abbott Band, a couple of Texas people were doing like a drive-in show where like one night it was them and everyone just stays in their cars or sits on the hoods of their cars or whatever. I thought that was kind of a cool idea.
Yeah, I've been hearing about that, and that's actually pretty inspiring. So
better than nothing, that's for sure.
Which is what we got. I mean, I frankly, I play live on the live streams and stuff. I don't enjoy it.
Yeah.
So this is a confession that I'm making. Yeah. People, it's not
definitely weird. I've been enjoying it. I think just because I've been so like secluded for a bit, I haven't been doing much music wise. So any sort of connection feels good, but it's definitely not the same as playing for faces, Right.
The first time that I did it, I was really excited about the prospect of what this was going to evolve into.
Yeah.
And very, very quickly, I was just like, this is not the same. I mean, not that it has to be the same. I just don't like it as much.
Right.
I go on stage to be in touch with people.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
And it's a different experience. So I want to say thank you to those of you who are commenting. I don't know if you can see the comments. There's lots of.
No, I can't.
You're getting lots of. You might look on the side of your computer. It says see comments maybe or something.
Oh, maybe. Oh, live comments. Yeah, I'm in a private chat apparently. Oh, look at all these people.
Yeah.
Love it.
So there's up. It goes up. The numbers go up and down, but you got a lot of really nice compliments. So how about another song then? We should.
Yeah, I can do another song. I just gotta make sure I'm in the right key. I always forget. Okay, this is a song called "Pretty Good Girl." Okay. Well, I've been known to get a little loud, to have a few drinks and run my mouth, but I ain't never said nothing I can't take back. I drive too fast wherever I go, whenever I see an open road. I don't know why, but it's always been like that. Well, I'm always walking a pretty straight line with wrong and right on either side. Well, I ain't never had trouble sleeping. I treat everyone like I want to be treated. I ain't the sweetest thing in this whole world. But all in all, at the end of the day, ask anyone, I bet they'll say that I'm a pretty good girl. much as I'd like to, as much as I could, but I think the good Lord loves me anyway. I try to do good whenever I can, but you know what they say, the best laid plans, even with good intentions, go astray. Well, I've never tried to hurt anyone, and all I want to do is have a little fun. Well, I ain't never had trouble sleeping. I treat everyone like I want to be treated. I ain't the sweetest thing in this whole world. But all in all, at the end of the day, ask anyone, I bet they'll say that I'm a pretty good girl. Well, I'm always walking a pretty straight line with wrong and right on either side. Well, I ain't never had trouble sleeping. I treat everyone like I want to be treated. I ain't the sweetest thing in this whole world. Ooh, all in all, at the end of the day, ask anyone, I bet they'll say that I'm a pretty good girl. I'm a pretty good girl. Yeah, I'm a pretty good girl. Hey, thank you.
So I have one question, then I want to move on to what we were just talking. Go back to what we were just talking about. First of all, did your album? Did it ever come out?
No.
Can people buy it online or
no?
No?
Yeah, no. I would love to work on that and see what I can do about it, but I don't, because I made it for a label. I don't own the masters.
Right.
I can re-record the songs, obviously, because I wrote them. So, yeah, no, it never came out. I'm hoping maybe someday I can get it and release it, because I was definitely really proud of it. It's crazy now because I was like 21 when I made it, I think 21, 22. So that's been a long time ago, but I'm definitely working on some new stuff coming up. I'd like to get back in and record like at least an EP to get out. I do have a single on iTunes, which is pretty, I kind of like it. It's pretty cool. It's Gypsies, Tramps, and Thieves, but like my bluegrass version of it. So yeah.
So back to what you were saying about getting out and playing live music. Have you thought about like putting a band together or anything? Or?
I have thought about it, yes. And thanks to like Village Wine things, I've met a few guys that I think would be pretty fun to play with. So definitely planning on at least, looking into that, and at least getting a small band together. It's fun playing by myself, but it's a lot more fun to play with other people who are up there kind of like and having a fun time with you,
Yeah. I mean, It's a different dynamic for sure to play.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I love playing with a band. I have a bluegrass band with Bill Martin and Tony Martin. They play mandolin and banjo, and Kendall Scott plays guitar. And,
cool.
And we've been socially distanced around the campfire two of the last 5 nights, just playing bluegrass songs, and it's so much fun. Just to be together.
Cool. I didn't know Kendall played bluegrass music, so I definitely need him to play with me. I know that he's like real good at like country guitar and stuff like that. So
he's good at country guitar, but he's not a half bad mandolin player, and
cool.
He can play a little banjo. So
nice. I love the banjo. I know some people think that's weird, but I'm a big fan of the banjo.
My dad was a 5-stringer, and
really?
I grew up loving it. Yeah, and still do. Yeah,
that's awesome.
So very good. Well, we're about out of time. I'm going to ask you to sing one more, and maybe is there a website or something people should go know about?
Probably just my Facebook and Instagram is kind of where I'm doing everything right now. I'm working on all that other stuff as we speak, actually. But yeah, my Facebook, I think the URL is facebook.com/Dani Flowers Music. And it's DANI. I mean, that's probably on here somewhere, and then also my Instagram, I share a lot on there, is ITS Dani Flowers. So.
Okay. So, folks, check her out. Follow her. Give her a follow on Instagram and Facebook, and you'll be able to keep up with what Dani's doing. So, it's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure having you on the show, and thank you so much. Can't wait till we can all get back together and play some music up at the Village Wine.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll come back on after the song, but
okay.
Checking it out.
All right, so this song I haven't sang in a really long time, but I'm gonna play it because I like it. I wrote this with my friend Adam Wright. He and his wife had a duo. They still do every once in a while, called the Wrights. He's actually, Adam is Alan Jackson's nephew, which is just so cool because I grew up loving Alan Jackson. But we've written a bunch of songs together, and this is one of my favorites. And I need to take a breath because it has a lot of words in it. All right. When love comes knocking on my door, I'll say what for, you're not welcome anymore. My heart got broken and the pain ain't stopping, so there's no use knocking on my front door. Thinking about building a great big wall all the way around my house. I'm gonna make it 10 feet tall to keep all the heartache out. When love comes knocking on my door, I'll say what for, you're not welcome anymore. My heart got broken and the pain ain't stopping, so there's no use knocking on my front door. Maybe I'll move out west somewhere, I'll change my name too. If love ever finds me way out there, I don't know what I'll do. When love comes knocking on my door, I'll say what for, you're not welcome anymore. My heart got broken and the pain ain't stopping, so there's no use knocking on my front door. Thought I'd quit for good this time, never gonna fall again. You showed up and changed my mind, I think I'm gonna let you in. When love comes knocking on my door, I'll say what for, I don't need you anymore. I've already fallen and there ain't no stopping, so there's no use knocking on my front door. When love comes knocking on my door, I'll say what for, I don't need you anymore. I've already fallen and there ain't no stopping, so there's no use knocking on my front door. I don't know why I do these things to myself. I have a really bad habit of writing songs with a lot of words in them.
I've done that myself.
Takes a lot of air.
Yeah, lessons I've learned as a songwriter are give yourself some space in the song.
Yes.
If you're going to write a song with internal rhymes, give yourself weeks to write it.
Yes.
Those are two of my first important lessons I learned. And
good rules. Good rules to live by.
Yeah. Well, hey, it's been great having you on the show, and look forward to seeing you again, folks. You can check out Dani Flowers at it's Dani Flowers on Instagram, and on Facebook at Dani Flowers Music, DANI. You can see it spelled right there at the bottom of the screen. All right. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. We'll see you on Monday. I have Kevin Elliott, DJ and performer, songwriter from Urbana and WEFT DJ. On Tuesday, I have the amazing Bob Schneider from Austin, Texas, who's a legend in Austin and a guy that you should know if you don't. And then on Wednesday, I have Katrina Sturton from Ontario, from Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. And so it's going to be an interesting week. I don't have anything beyond that, but I will keep you posted. All right. Thanks, everyone.
Bye. Thank you.
Takes a second.